Right now, somewhere in your home, there is a mirror. And this morning you stood in front of it and looked at your own face without really seeing it. You checked for spinach in your teeth. You fixed your hair and left. You did not stop to notice the strangest thing about that face, which is this. Out of the 8 billion people alive, not one of them has it. Who else wears your exact nose, your jaw, the precise gap between your eyes? No one. Not your mother, not a stranger on the far side of the planet. It is yours alone, and you carry it around like spare change, barely glancing at the one object in the whole universe that is completely you. You probably think that is a happy accident, a random shuffle of your parents' genes that happened to land on your face. It is not. Your face is the one part of you that evolution worked hardest to make different, and it did it on purpose. Here is where it gets strange. In 2014, two researchers at Berkeley, Michael Sheehan and Michael Nachman, went looking for how much human bodies actually vary. They measured people. The length of a forearm, the width of a wrist, the span of a hand. Those numbers cluster tightly. Your forearm is almost boringly close to a stranger's forearm. Then they measured faces. The distance between the eyes, the width of the nose, the height of the brow, and the variation exploded. Faces vary far more than any other part of the body, more than chance alone should ever allow. That is the first crack in the story you were told. Bodies are mass-produced. Faces are hand-signed. Go deeper, and it gets stranger still. Take any two people from anywhere on Earth, and their genetic code is about 99.9% identical. Everything that makes you look like you, and not like the person beside you on the train, hides inside the last sliver, a bare 0.1%. And of that tiny sliver, an outsized share is spent on the face. The genes that shape your features are not the quiet, uniform ones. They are among the most varied in the whole human genome, the body's entire instruction book. Evolution had 1,000 things it could have kept plain and left identical. It chose to spend its variety on your face. Your phone already knows this. It does not scan your forearm to let you in. It looks at your face, because your face is the password that nature wrote long before there were phones. So why would evolution bother? The answer is almost tender. We are a deeply social animal. For hundreds of thousands of years, staying alive meant being known, remembered, trusted, owed a favor. A person that every neighbor could tell apart at a glance had an edge over one who blurred into the crowd. So the pressure ran backward from what you would expect. Instead of grinding every face toward one efficient average, evolution pushed them apart, rewarding difference, until being unmistakable became the entire point. Your face is not decoration, it is an identity badge, written in bone and skin, so the rest of us can find you. And the rest of us are built to read it. How fast? Behind your temple sits a patch of brain, the fusiform face area, that does almost nothing but recognize faces. It is so specialized that you can spot a friend across a packed station in a fraction of a second, from the turn of the back of their head, before you could name a single feature. You do this thousands of times a day, and it feels like nothing. It is one of the most complex things your brain will ever do. You only feel how strange it is when it breaks. Some people are born with face blindness, and recent work suggests it is far more common than anyone guessed, as many as 1 in 33. What must that be like? To them, a face is just a face. Eyes and nose and mouth in the usual places, carrying no name. They know their own children by a voice, a coat, a haircut. Change the haircut, and the child becomes a stranger. It is a quiet reminder that recognizing a face is not the same as seeing one. It is a gift running silently under the seeing, and most of us never know we are holding it. None of this waits for you to grow up. A newborn, only a few days old, barely able to focus, will already turn toward 2 dots over a line, toward anything shaped like a face, and ignore the same shapes scrambled. Before a baby knows your name, before it knows its own, it is hunting for your face in the blur. The search for the familiar face switches on before almost everything else. We arrive already looking for each other. Now travel outward, from the face to the skin wrapped around it, because this is where the story is most misunderstood. People treat skin color as if it marks some deep, ancient wall between kinds of humans. It marks almost nothing of the sort. Skin color is a thin dial, set by what? By one thing above all, sunlight. Near the equator, fierce ultraviolet light tears apart folate, a vitamin the body needs to build healthy children, so darker skin evolved as a built-in shield. Far to the north, where the sun is weak, that same shield would block the light you need to make vitamin D, so skin lightened to let more of it in. The anthropologist Nina Jablonski mapped this across the whole planet, and the pattern is not a set of separate races. It is one smooth gradient, dark to light, tracking the strength of the sun from the tropics toward the poles. And it moves fast. When populations walked into new latitudes, their skin could shift over just a few hundred generations, a blink in the long life of our species. The color of a person's skin is not a badge of who they are. It is a weather report from wherever their ancestors happen to stand under the sun. Your eyes hide a smaller version of the same surprise. So where did blue eyes come from? Every person with blue eyes alive today, from Sweden to Afghanistan, traces back to a single ancestor. In 2008, a geneticist in Copenhagen, Hans Eiberg, followed blue eyes to one tiny change in one gene, a switch that dimmed the brown that first flipped in one person somewhere between 6 and 10,000 years ago. Before that, as far as we can tell, no one on Earth had blue eyes at all. Everyone who carries them since is distant family, sharing that one long-dead great-grandparent. So the color you think of as old and settled is actually young and borrowed, a recent accident that spread across the world because people liked the look of it. If all of this sounds like a lot of machinery just to tell one another apart, look at who else stumbled onto the very same trick. Far from any human, on a papery nest under a roof beam, lives the paper wasp. In 2011, researchers found that one species, Polistes fuscatus, knows its nestmates by their faces, by the tiny yellow markings on each one, and falls apart when those faces are altered in almost the same way you fail with an upside-down photograph. A wasp? Wherever life needs individuals to be told apart, it keeps reinventing the face. You share that ancient answer with an insect, and neither of you was ever asked. Even the exceptions prove the point. Identical twins are the closest nature comes to a copy. Two whole people grown from one splitting cell. And still the parents who raise them learn the tiny tells, the freckle, the slightly longer smile, and stop mixing them up. The face insists on being singular even when the genes tried to run it twice. There is almost nothing else about a human body this stubborn about staying one of a kind. Here is the last twist, and it is a strange one. Long ago, a scientist named Francis Galton stacked portraits on top of one another, hoping to find the face of a single type. Instead, he found something he was not looking for. The blended, averaged faces came out more beautiful than any of the real faces poured into them. Blend faces, and they grow more attractive, not less. So which face is the most beautiful? The average one, the face that nobody actually has. You are not the average. You are a deviation from it, a one-off the average could never produce. And every brain that meets you is built to notice exactly how. So walk back to that mirror. The one you barely looked at this morning. The face in it is not a random shuffle, and not a flaw in some perfect design. It is a signal, sharpened over hundreds of thousands of years, so the people who love you can pick you out of any crowd on Earth without a single word. It works like a name you never have to say out loud. Look again, a little longer this time. And the next time a face in a crowd stops you and you cannot place it, be gentle with yourself. You are not bad with faces. You are still running one of the oldest, deepest programs your kind ever wrote, the one that turned billions of us into billions of originals, and then asked each of us to know the others on sight.